AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day.
It's hump day.
Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
LSU lives to play another day.
Hump day.
Jared Mitchell from Hoover in 15 minutes.
It's hump day.
Florida and Vandy right now, bottom 7.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Gators lead 5-3.
Hump day.
Might get this one on. I'm not going to say it.
It's hump day.
Not going to say it.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Oh, the hypocrites are out in college basketball.
Hump day.
We'll expose them.
It's hump day.
Preview LSU Auburn with Brian Matthews, who covers Auburn. That's next hour.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Urson Demir is an international basketball draft analyst.
Hump day.
He knows how to pronounce all the names of LSU's commits.
It's hump day.
So we're going to have him on to teach me how to pronounce all their names.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
And probably a little bit of a profile on them as basketball players.
Hump day.
All right, we got a lot to do. Let's get rolling here. Lane Kiffin was on Pardon My Take. That we knew that interview was happening. It's dropped. We'll hit the highlights. That's coming up here in a smidge. But let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Will Wade is dominating college basketball headlines, so much so that, check the calendar, it's May the 20th. Lane Kiffin has gone silent for a week, finally emerges on a Barstool platform. The LSU baseball team won a game last night in an elimination, fighting for its season. They play again today. And we're leading the show with basketball on May the 20th. Will Wade effect, y'all. Knowing Will Wade for as long as I have, having covered him during his first stint at LSU and now, obviously, again, here, what is undeniable is that Will Wade is college basketball's villain. And he is college basketball's villain that LSU fans love and the rest of the sport loves to hate. And every time something like what's happened here in the last week happens, it only validates that, confirms that, and it exposes incredible hypocrisy in this sport. I want to be very clear about something because we talked about it a day ago. This became a thing with R.J. Lewis. Now, R.J. Lewis, a season ago, 25, was the Big East Player of the Year. Very good player. Forfeited the remainder of his eligibility so as to go pro. He goes undrafted, G League, now wants to come back into college basketball. When the Charles Bediako situation was happening in Alabama, the NCAA released a statement, in part which read, the NCAA has not and will not grant eligibility to any prospective or returning student athletes who have signed an NBA contract, including a two-way contract. Black and white. RJ Lewis signed a two-way contract. He done. Cannot come back. I am not in favor of it. Will Wade, Bert Jawsbury, Wade Roos, all of you. I am not in favor of you pursuing any action to bring RJ Lewis back to LSU. You're wrong in so doing. The same way Alabama was wrong in bringing back Charles Bediako. But here's my problem. Same way Ole Miss was wrong with Chambliss. Same way Tennessee was wrong with Joey Aguilar and everyone else. We need rules. We need rules. Someone's got to govern the sport. We need a commissioner of this. We need rules. Well, you got rules, and you don't want to follow them. That's on you. Now, I have no issue whatsoever with the international players, even older international players, coming to LSU to play. Because that is well within the rules of college basketball. None. I have no issue whatsoever. If those players are, in fact, eligible, deemed eligible by the NCAA, then I have no problem at all with them playing at LSU. I don't care if it's Yamadar, who's 26. I don't care if it's the Crash Davis version of an international player who's 46. If the NCAA says he's eligible, he's eligible. And Will Wade's taking advantage of that. Fine. Here's the hypocrisy that bothers me. There are former European and international professional basketball players littered all throughout college basketball. Andy Katz, before this most recent season, published his top 10 international players in the college game this year. Number 1 was Alex Condon at Florida. He played 2 seasons in the NBL 1 in Australia. That's a professional basketball league. Tomislav Ivicic from Illinois. 5 years of professional basketball in Croatia and Montenegro. Dame Sarr, Duke, 3 years with FC Barcelona in the EuroLeague. Oscar Clough, you want me to go on? Purdue. You want me to keep going? He's 24 years old, former pro from Australia. 20 how old? How old? 20 what? 24. Henri Vassar, he's at North Carolina right now. He's a 22-year-old from Estonia. Vonimir Visic, also at Illinois, by the way. That way, Brad Underwood. No bitching about him, is there? ABA League. He was a pro at the ABA League, then went to Kentucky with Calipari, then went to Arkansas with Cal, and now is at Illinois. Anybody bitching about him? Vonimir Visic? Anybody? Oh, we're good with him? Because it's Cal? Or because it's Underwood? We're good with that? Or because it's Duke or North Carolina or Purdue? I keep going. Oh, another Purdue. Omer Meyer. Maccabi Tel Aviv in the EuroLeague. Now at Purdue. Weird. Guy was playing professionally overseas, now coming into the college basketball. It's almost like this happens all the time. Oh, because it does. Except now you have uppity jerks like Jeff Goodman who make this insanely personal. Did you hear Jeff Goodman's cute little rant about Will Wade? This was on Tuesday. Give a listen.
Will Wade, I wish you didn't come back to college basketball. Honestly, I mean that. I like Will. I've known Will since he was an assistant at Harvard back in 2007, 2008. But, man, you suck for college basketball right now.
And you're a hypocrite, a-hole.
You suck for college basketball.
You suck.
Like, you're making it into a mockery. And look in the mirror and understand it's not just about you. This is about more than just you. This is about the sport of college basketball. Have some pride. Have some dignity. Don't try to ruin the sport. The first time was when you hired Slick Rick Stansbury. That was the first time when you got to LSU that you were going to muck it up as much as humanly possible. I know people are trying to push the rules. I get it. Scott Drew did it last year. with James Najee. Nate Oates did it with Charles Bediako. But this is ridiculous. First of all, you got a second chance here after being run out of the sport. You were great at McNeese State. And then you know what? Another high major gave you an opportunity at NC State. And what did you do? You did this after 1 year. You did this after 1 year at NC State, and you said, I'm gone. I'm going back to LSU. And now it's the same shit all over again. Obviously, the rules have changed. We know that. But come on, man. Again, have some pride. Like, have some dignity in your profession.
Cool. So that's Jeff Goodman on the day that R.J. Lewis, who signed a two-way contract to go to the NBA after being at St. John's, commits to LSU. This was a couple of months ago. Same guy, same Jeff Goodman. I checked. Not common name, not a different person who happens to cover college basketball. Same guy, Jeff Goodman, when Charles Bediako was granted an injunction to play for Alabama. This same Jeff Goodman talking about Nate Oates just a couple of months ago.
Jeff, is it true? I read this morning that Nate Oates a week ago was critical of the Najee taking. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think he was. I mean, I saw the quotes. I didn't hear him, but yeah, I did see that. I think here's the deal, guys.
But that makes this way worse.
But everybody can be that way. Everybody can be that way until they have an opportunity.
Well, yeah, because if it self-serves your team and
they're all like that. But that's like that, aren't they?
I guess, but I don't know. This is a train wreck, and if this goes, the way that it could, we are screwed.
So to be clear, the same guy who's shooting the bird at Will Wade and calling him bad for the game, wishing he had stayed away, dropping expletives about R.J. Lewis. A couple of months, who says nothing, by the way, about Alex Condon, Tomislav Ivicic, Dame Sar, Oscar Clough, Henri Vassar, Vonimir Ivicic, Omer Meyer. Says nothing about any of these guys. Florida, Illinois, Duke, Purdue, North Carolina. It says nothing about any of them. No issues there. A couple of months ago, Charles Bediako, Nate Oates. Oh, isn't that just what everyone does? Until it's your team, everyone can say that until it's Will Wade, and now you got a strong opinion on it. Freaking hypocrites. That's my problem. You want to know why? Do you want to know why LSU fans line up with swords drawn to defend Will Wade? Because of that, Jeff Goodman. Because of that. Because you are a colossal freaking hypocrite. And it ain't just Jeff Goodman, it's all of them. They turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to Duke and North Carolina and Purdue and Illinois, and back in the Wade FBI deal, it was Sean Miller and it was Bill Self and it was Bruce Pearl, but they had all their lackeys doing their bidding for them. Wade was the one on the wiretap. Clumsy, he deserved to get fired. I've never disputed that. Will was clumsy, careless, doing what everybody else did, but it was his voice on the wiretap. He stepped in it. He got fired. You go 110 on the interstate, you're getting a ticket, you're probably going to jail, okay? Who among us? But the problem is the high and mighty, ridiculous hypocrisy from people like Jeff Goodman, who represent the collective of college basketball, who turn a blind eye to everyone else, but tee off on Will Wade. By the way, Marcio Santos, one of the EuroLeague commits to LSU right now. Remember the story? Hey, who did LSU beat? Whose coach was in Israel the Wednesday before Santos committed to LSU? Who was it? Tell me, Muse or Paul. Who was it? Whose coach was it? You remember?
Kentucky?
Friggin' Mark Pope in Kentucky. So let me get it straight. Mark Pope flies his ass halfway across the world to go recruit this guy. No problem. He commits to Will Wade in LSU, and Will Wade's bad for the game. Frigging hypocrites. That's what chaps every LSU fan's ass when we talk about Will Wade. That's what gets everybody's goat. Because he ain't doing nothing anybody else isn't doing around, but they only have a problem when it's Will Wade. That's the issue. That's the problem. I just read a list from Andy Katz, who's celebrating the top 10 Euros, guys who played professionally coming into the game. Here's the top 10 of them. No issue. Until Will Wade's getting some of them committed. And then it's a problem. And that's my problem. And I'm going to say it again. Under no circumstances should R.J. Lewis be playing at LSU next year. And if LSU supports him going to court, I will sit here and I will tee off on Will Wade and Verge Osbury and Wade Roos and all the leadership at LSU who should put a friggin' stop to that. But if NCAA rules allow you to go sign international players who are eligible under NCAA rules, which all the other major programs are doing, why is it okay for everyone else, but Will Wade's bad for the game when he doesn't? Hypocrites, that is why 5 years ago, 6 years ago, LSU fans lined up in defense of Will Wade, and that's why they're still doing it today. It's after further review.
AFR.
You want to know how I got so much energy? Goodwood. Go get your testosterone shots today, bruh. Go to Goodwood. All right, I'll calm down. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. YourGoodwood.com. Sweating. YourGoodwood.com. Hormone replacement therapy, ED treatments, peptide therapy. Do my peptides every day, man. Well, Monday through Friday. BPC 157, NAD+. NAD+, incredible, literally reverse aging your cells at a cellular. It is making you younger at a cellular level. Incredible energy levels as well with NAD+, as if you couldn't tell from the open. BPC 157, incredible for muscle and tissue repair. Got an injury? Boom, BPC 157. Have surgery? Inject BPC 157 at the site of your injury, your surgery, whatever. It will accelerate recovery. Learn more. YourGoodwood.com. YourGoodwood.com.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit YourGoodwood.com.
Tigers live to play another day. They beat Oklahoma 6-2. It'll be LSU and Auburn tonight. Our buddy Jared Mitchell is SEC Network, of course, is at the SEC tournament, whereas we speak, Florida polishing off Vandy at 7-3 there in the 8th. Jay Mitch, what up, man?
How we doing? What's going on this afternoon?
Doing awesome, man. Reaction to the LSU win over Oklahoma, what stood out?
I mean, I don't think we need to go any further than what you saw pitching-wise, right? It's been a year, if you want to call it that, on the mound. It's not what we've been accustomed to see, I guess, over the past few years. But they stood up. They did a heck of a job. I'd say last night, only 3 walks. They did a good job of limiting base runners, obviously only giving up 2 runs. I thought it was an incredible pitching performance, and not only just in totality, but also having to pivot at the last minute with William Schmidt being out and not being able to use him, and then now you have to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? They were incredible last night, and I think they were what powered them to a win.
Yeah, Jay Mitchell, I know you follow this team closely in spite of obviously covering the whole conference, so you understand the significance of Schmidt not pitching. If he's not available for the rest of the tournament, what does that mean for LSU?
I mean, it's a big loss, right? You haven't had much stability, if you will, in the rotation. He's been the one guy that has pretty much made a start all year. You were not expecting that, and for a team that's coming into this tournament, which is already a tough, long-standing tournament for you to win if you're not one of those teams with a bye or a double bye, which means you're going to be playing probably, I think, 5 games, to win it all.
Yeah.
It makes it already tough to go into a week like that without having somebody that you've been able to count on to give you quality innings and give you length in the rotation. So winning this tournament, and obviously LSU came in there understanding that they need to win the tournament to continue to go on with the season. So not having him at all this tournament would be a big blow to it, and we'll see if that actually ends up being the case.
What about Cerna? Looks like he might be done for the tournament as well.
And same thing as well, man. And that's kind of been the injury bug that has hit them a lot this year, right? You don't have Cooper Moore. You don't have Cerna right now. You don't have William Smith. You lost Casey Evans for a while. You lost Jake Brown. There's been a lot of things going on with the team in terms of injury. But, at the end of the day, you still have to play the games. You still have to go out there and do the thing. So without those guys will be a big blow. But, listen, this is a very talented ball club coming in. You don't want to be losing guys that you're counting a lot on, but that just means other guys got to step up, and that's where they're going to be sitting.
Jared Mitchell's with us. I want to talk about the game tonight against Auburn in a sec, Jay Mitch, but it's interesting. This team 9-21 in the league. We all know that by now, but you just detailed all the injuries, right? Which is an undeniable part of this season for LSU. How much of being 9-21 do you attribute to the injury bug? Cooper Moore misses 8 starts in conference play. Casey Evans misses a month. Jake Brown, Stanfield missed half the season. All that stuff. And how much of it is misevaluation? Guys not developing, stepping up. Like, how do you balance the impact the injuries had?
I think the one impact that probably a lot of people wouldn't say, just because we had not seen him much or known much of him in purple and gold, is the Cooper Moore one, right? Like, you lose a weekend starter, that hurts a lot. And to not have someone to basically come in and be able to fill that, and let's tell the truth of it. Look, at the end of the day, one of the most talented guys walking around in the Tiger uniform is Casey Evans. I think we can all agree with that. But what we thought and what we hoped would turn into a premier frontline Friday night starter, numbers-wise, it just hasn't been all of that yet. Do I think he's someone that could put it all together and figure it out, whether it's, if he's back next year and how he chooses to go about things? Yeah, of course. But we're just going to talk about this year. We were hoping that he would get to a better spot, and I think he would also tell you the same thing as well. So when that hasn't been that, like, we got a chance to see last year in two guys take rotation spots for the first time in a Tiger uniform in Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson. We were hoping we were duplicating that this year with Casey Evans and William Schmidt. It hasn't been quite that. So when you don't have quite that and then you lose another starter out of it, that hurts a ton. I think you could talk about the stuff in the lineup, but let's be honest, at the end of the day, when you're giving away free passes the way this pitching staff has this year, it makes it hard to beat anybody. It makes it hard to score a lot of runs when you're watching ball after ball and some not so competitive pitches. So I think what the woes on the pitching staff this year, to me, have been far more indicative to the season in the record than it has even been the lineup and what may have or may not have happened in the lineup.
Jared Mitchell is our guest, former Tiger great, of course, SEC Network, getting him mic'd up with Mikey and Jay Mitch as well. So it's LSU and Auburn, the last game tonight, Jay Mitch. Jake Marciano is going to get the ball for Auburn. Look, the numbers are sterling. From a hitter's perspective, tell me what you see from the sophomore lefty.
I mean, he's not somebody that blows you away with stuff. He doesn't have a high velo. He's kind of, if you want to call it, in what today's pitching is, kind of untraditional, right? Like, that's not what you usually get. You usually get a lot of guys that's up there blowing 95, 96 or north of that with these hard pitches. Like, he doesn't have that. But what he does do is he commands the ball very well. He will use his off speed. He will use all 4 quadrants of the strike zone, and he does those things well. So I think dealing with him and dealing with something that you're not truly used to seeing this year becomes a different task for hitters these days. And I think understanding how to let the ball travel, how to use the other side of the field, which sometimes in today's game is kind of a little bit of a lost art. I think understanding that and doing that is where this team needs to kind of focus and not really worry about using a long ball. Look, it's funny too, because I got a chance to play in this ballpark when it was a minor league stadium as well. And although the fences have come in, what I saw last night was, I remember the days when it was, daytime, you had a chance to get balls out of here pretty regularly. Like, it was okay. But once you saw the dew on the grass, you understood how heavy the air was, and you understood that balls don't fly. So when you're sitting here talking about somebody who's not going to throw real hard, who's not going to supply the power, you have to be real conscious of trying to drive the ball down and through gaps as opposed to over the wall. So keeping the ball down, I would assume, again tonight, should be at a premium, should be at one of the top of the things that they're trying to do as an offense to score runs on this Auburn pitching staff.
Great perspective as always. Jared Mitchell is our guest. Who do you think, considering they're facing the lefty, best case, or who would you like to see Jay replace Cerna with in the lineup?
In the lineup, that's going to be a tough one. Once again, you're going to face a lefty, so I think it's probably best to get a righty. So if you have to go Simpson, I think Simpson, or I think that could probably work best. But the thing about it is if you're getting to him, how far are you going to go, and how are you going to switch with him? So I think you may only, if you get to Marciano, I don't know that he stays in there super long, right? And then at that point, how are you going to keep matching up with the rest of their pitching staff and how they throw things at you out the pen?
Yeah. LSU and Auburn will be game 4 tonight. Anybody else so far through a day and a half really catch your eye?
Other teams you talking about?
Yeah, other teams, yeah.
Yeah, man, I was actually really surprised with what Missouri was able to do. If you told me 18 runs are going to get scored in game one to start the tournament with Missouri playing it, and I would have never told you it was Missouri scoring 10 of it and being on the victor side of that. But more so than teams, the ABS system and how it's been used so far in the tournament has been kind of intriguing. There's been some big calls, some things that have swung innings, things that have swung outs, and then now all of a sudden runs are scored after it. And it's been kind of cool to see that, but also understanding that, like, that zone's a little bit bigger than what people probably think it is. So how it's been used by the players has been kind of cool to see.
Florida leading Vandy right now. Home run there for the Gators. They're pulling away. Looks like Florida will beat Vandy here, and Tennessee and Arkansas up next for the Tigers against the Tigers tonight. Jared Mitchell, SEC Networks there in Hoover. Good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us. Always appreciate it, J. Mitch. Thank you.
Of course, man. No problem. Y'all have a good one.
You do the same. It's After Further Review, brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades. Relief Windows. ReliefWindows.com. I can hear it right now, man. It's raining outside. Look, we got storm season right around the bend. You want to add an extra layer of security to your home? Those Storm Force impact-resistant windows from Relief Windows are an awesome option, y'all. You might have seen over the years the commercials of Brandon Holly, like hitting the window with a crowbar and not breaking through that glass. Those are the impact-resistant windows. So think about it. They're Cat 5 approved in Miami-Dade County. So you think about flying debris during a storm, you don't break through the windows, extra layer of security. Also, against potential intruders, an extra layer of security for your home. But also, they're energy efficient. Lower your energy bills. Increase your home's resale value. Lifetime transferable warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage. Eric and I had these windows installed at our home 10 years ago when we moved in. I'm telling you, they still look beautiful, and we have that comfort knowing it's increased our home's resale value, it's lowered our energy bills, and we've got Relief Windows if we ever have an issue, which a decade later, we've not had a single issue. Imagine that. Do it right the first time. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, y'all, thanks for hanging out with us here. Brian Matthews will be here in 45 minutes. He covers Auburn, so we'll get the Auburn perspective of tonight's ball game with LSU and Auburn. Auburn's an interesting team in this series, in this tournament, because they're sitting there third nationally in the RPI. They had 17 wins in conference play. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Auburn be in the mix for a national seed if they're maybe able to beat LSU, beat A&M tomorrow. You'd be talking about a team that could play themselves into the weekend and potentially into a top 8 national seed. So a lot on the line for Auburn in this weekend in Hoover. So LSU against Auburn tonight, 8 o'clock scheduled first pitch. Not going for Michael. Let's hope they stay on time. Going past midnight last night was not fun. What it is, I'll take it. Tigers keep playing. All right, I got a break, y'all. We'll go around the SEC, and another New Orleans team is heading over the pond. Tell you about it. It's AFR.
AFR.
DuplessisPools.com. Thinking about building your own pool? DuplessisPools.com. Thinking about building that outdoor kitchen? DuplessisPools.com. Maybe a cabana at your home? DuplessisPools.com. Maybe you want a beautiful accent like a putting green in your outdoor space? DuplessisPools.com. My buddy Derek Duplessis and his team, they do beautiful work. They're going to take the time to do it right and build you something beautiful that will last. Go to DuplessisPools.com, DuplessisPools.com. That's the website. You could start there. You could design your pool, design your outdoor kitchen. You can look at financing options. Easy to use right there on the website at DuplessisPools.com, DuplessisPools.com. And remember also, you're dealing with one of the best, not just locally, but nationally. Pool & Spa Magazine named Duplessis Pools a top 50 pool builder in America, number 26 in the country. You want the best? You want Duplessis Pools. DuplessisPools.com.
After Further Review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Well, the NFL schedule release was last week. We learned that the New Orleans Saints are headed to Paris to play the Pittsburgh Steelers in a game in late October. It'll be the Saints and the Steelers game in Paris. Saints and Steelers. There. Thank you. Ha ha. Italien sugar. Eating a croissant. Is it getting better?
That was good. Yeah, the croissant was good. Croissant.
Croissant. Ha ha.
Oui, oui.
Smoking a cigarette and looking for Pepe Le Pew.
That's what they do over there.
Football.
Easy baguette.
Is there? Hey!
Easy baguette.
Is it baguette? Ah! I think I just blended Italian and French right there.
Cigarette in Boré.
Ibiare.
That's it.
Biare. Well, we've now learned that the other New Orleans team is also going to Paris. Did you hear about this?
What we got?
Well, this is the good thing. Remember, last week I had to ask how to pronounce the stadium in France that the Saints are going to play. And Paul, by the way, your French in high school, you completely failed. It's Stade. Like, you were totally wrong. Whatever. You said like Stade or something. You were wrong. You added a syllable. What do you have to say for yourself?
That was about 20 years ago, so yeah, I'm a little rusty.
Clearly, Central schools, not good. Take that, Central. Terrible schools. Didn't teach Paul a thing. I speak better French than Paul. Let me hear you do that, Paul. Yeah, mine's better.
I don't know.
Way
That
better.
was strong from Paul.
January 14th, Accor Arena. I can spell ACCOR. I can pronounce that. Accor, maybe it's Accor.
I was about to say there's probably some French.
I don't think it's French. I don't think it's a French now. ACCOR. Anyway, but it doesn't stop there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. After they leave Paris, playing on Jan 14, they're going to hop a flight or maybe a train, I don't know, over to the home of the Manx. Muse, if you're not a Mank, you're a wank.
Okay. I'm neither of those things.
You wanker?
You bloody wanker.
Saw that on Euro Trip 20 years ago. Crank that up. The Pels are going to Manchester, England. So they're going to play in Paris. Yeah! This almost makes me want to be British. I said almost.
It does not.
I said
it does
almost.
not.
I said almost.
No.
That's a kick-ass song, man.
It's not
Nobody
that good.
can sing our national anthem. I know this is not their national anthem. I know Rule Britannia is not their national anthem. Okay, it's God Save the Queen. I know. I'm just saying, I think people mumble through the Star Spangled Banner because it's so hard to sing. Rule Britannia is just like, get into your innards and your gut and just yell, Rule Britannia. It's pretty awesome.
I mean, yeah, but you don't actually want to be British.
Shut up. I said almost.
Just because the song's
I said almost.
good.
I said Joe Montana. So they're going to go to Manchester, Manchester United.
Glory, glory.
United. That's pretty good. I need to get Luke on the show.
There you go.
I need Luke from the Londoner. Oh my God. So excited about
That's what we
this.
should have done for this.
I'll tell you what. It's not too late. Crank that up! Almost, Muse. Almost makes me want to be British.
I don't believe you.
I didn't say I want to be British. I said almost.
I don't think you almost
Just
do.
for this song. Look, the food stinks.
It's horrible.
The weather's awful.
Bad.
They got bad teeth.
Yes.
There's nothing about it that I want. We whipped their ass. We were farmers with pitchforks, and we whipped the greatest army in the world. I don't want to be one of them. I said this song almost makes me want to be one of them.
Man.
We threw their tea in the harbor.
It's true, that happened.
Screw your tea.
Yep, the Boston Tea Party.
And your taxes.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Beatles, though.
Beatles are good, man.
I like the Beatles.
they gave good music. The British gave good music to the
Love
world.
Zepp. Try to get a hand, Rule Britannia.
That's what.
See? I told ya. Yeah. The British invasion. The Who.
The Who.
Zeppelin.
Yeah.
The Beatles. Spice Girls. Oh, man, and they can drink some beer, too. That's good. Thank you. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, you wanted it again?
No, I don't want it again. We need to go. That was good. Like, you got to learn. Get out on the punchline. Spice Girls was the punchline. We were done. Almost. Tell me that's not a badass song. That song, objectively, is a more fire you up song than the Star Spangled Banner.
Sure, fire you up song. Absolutely.
That's my point.
100%.
That's all I'm saying. People go to games and they mumble the Star Spangled Banner because nobody can. And the rock is ring where among her singing I love it. My national anthem. It's really hard to sing.
It's a banger, though.
It's a really.
Yeah,
I need to get a vocalist on the show to explain. That is a really hard song to sing. Rule Britannia, just yell. Just yell. And Rule Britannia way better than God Save the Queen.
That's not even a conversation.
I don't even know what Rule Britannia is. Is that like their version of Lee Greenwood? God bless you. Is Rule?
Okay, you talking about look, love the song, man, but
From the lakes of Minnesota.
Oh man.
Hills of Tennessee. Across the plains of Texas. See the shining sea.
So Rule Britannia is a famous British patriotic song originally written from a 1740 patriotic poem by James Thompson.
Fam, their patriotic song's older than our country.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And that Princess Kate, how do you not love her? She's a doll. She's beautiful. She's classy, erudite. You know what I mean? Saw a video of her walking down the steps of a plane. She walked backwards because she's a classy lady.
She walked backwards?
Backwards down the steps. So you don't trip or fall. It's an extra level of care.
Okay.
You know, wind blowing up a dress or something like that.
I figured you'd have a greater chance of falling walking backwards. How do you see where you're going?
No. Like, think about if you're walking down. Think about if you're on a roof and you're coming down a ladder.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Would you be better facing out or facing back?
Yeah, facing back.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Stick with me, Muse. I'll learn you some stuff. Like how awesome Rule Britannia is.
Rule Britannia.
Let's go around the SEC. Hurry up, dude.
Around the SEC.
It's a good song.
Bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Missouri Tigers.
This is awesome. Ahmad Hardy's back in Columbia. So he's out of the hospital, back in Columbia, started rehab. He was shot in the leg on May the 10th. Was awesome last year. Led the SEC in rushing with nearly 1,700 yards. Beginning rehab for 2026. Looked like he's on his road to recovery. Great news.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Vandy landed JUCO edge Miles Miller from Northwest Mississippi. 6'2", 262. Muse, thanks for putting his name on here this time. It's easier to talk about a commitment when we know the commit's name.
I got your back.
Yeah, thank you. Well, not always, because you clearly didn't
Today I did.
He chose Vandy over other Power 4 offers from the Big 12 and the ACC.
Texas A&M!
Aggies have lost right-handed pitcher Aiden Sims for the SEC tournament. Michael Early confirmed the news. Tex Ags had it first. Sims 8-1 on the season, a 3.84 ERA. Struck out 73 with 19 walks.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
And Kentucky announced cancellation of their future series with Gonzaga. It was a 6-game series with the Wildcats and the Zags. So Gonzaga moving into the Pac-12 creates some scheduling conflicts. So the series will come to an end now at 4 games, too short of the initially pitched 6. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Man, I had an awesome lunch on Monday this week. My buddy Martin over at Shawbills. Awesome people. I've told you about, man, I've been able to talk about Shawbills and be partnered with them for more than a decade now. And the thing they pride themselves on is treating you awesome. It's so interesting. Like, every time you have service done or you buy tires at Shawbills, you're always going to get a sort of a performance review, an email, a text, whatever. And if they ever get a negative comment about anything, their pledge is within 2 hours, someone from Shawbills is going to respond to you. And it was interesting because he's telling me, like, people a lot of times are surprised. Like, oh, I didn't think it. You just think you're submitting something to some nameless, faceless entity. No, at Shawbills, like, they are going to be in touch with you to make it right. I tell you, man, they'll sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices. They keep you coming back. So they treat you like family. It's what Mr. Charlie insisted in 1968 when he opened the doors, and it's what Miss Beth, his daughter, who runs the business today, carries on through every person in the organization. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling. All right, it's a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Let me knock out a quick break. The Big Ten meetings continuing. Tony Petitti speaking openly about why he wants 24, but more so why he doesn't want a 16-team playoff. We're going to get into that. It's AFR.
After further review.
Man, you ever at your house and you're just super frustrated by how slow your internet is? Ever at your office and super frustrated by how slow your internet is or how often it goes out? And then you're even more frustrated because when you try to call your internet service provider, you can't get them on the phone, or you're ushered off to a call center overseas. Maybe you struggle to communicate with the person on the other end of the phone. You wait on hold for hours. You ever been through that? Yeah. You ever get really frustrated when the wind blows, storm comes in like happens here in the spring and the summer, and power goes out, you lose cable, you lose internet, lose phone? You ever get frustrated with that? Probably. I don't anymore. I switched to Rev. RevFiber.com. Lightning fast speeds, up to 5 gigs, 90-year-old company, local service, local call center, all fiber network. Cables are buried. RevFiber.com. RevFiber.com.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Big Ten meetings are going on out in California. Tony Petitti, the Big Ten commissioner, drew a pretty clear line in the sand. Not only is he stumping for 24, he was very clear and said, quote, "We have had zero conversations about 16, meaning 16 teams, which is what Sankey is stumping for." He went on to say, Plan B is what we have now. We would stay with what we have now. He's effectively saying, we're either going to 24 or we're staying at 12. Ain't nobody going to 16. I mean, that is a hard, closed fist, straight jab into Greg Sankey's nose. Now, Greg Sankey is going to have his turn at the SEC spring meetings next week, but you are seeing all of the other power leagues line up in support of Petitti, but no change happens without agreement between the SEC and the Big Ten. And I know a lot of people here ain't going to like me saying it, but Petitti's argument for 24 makes sense. And so does his argument against 16. It's not just competition. Look, Petitti's background's in baseball. And his point is he can't understand why you wouldn't want to keep more fan bases engaged longer, which is objectively true. But he also talked about if you go to 16, nobody would have a bye, which you may be okay with that, but the problem is you go to 16, no buys, you eliminate conference championship weekend, the math doesn't work because you're eliminating some $200 million in revenues from the conference championship weekend, and you're not offsetting it by replacing it with enough inventory in the playoff. So the math doesn't make sense either. Like, I know everyone here wants to believe the SEC is right and the SEC is the big dog on the block and all that stuff. The Big Ten right now is outpacing the SEC. And look, a big part of it, too, is scheduling. The SEC just went to a 9-game league schedule, and you have your Power 4 non-conference prerequisite. So the SEC is going to end up playing 10 Power 4 games. The Big Ten's playing 9. They got their 9-game league schedule, but every team's non-conference schedule, by and large, is a joke. So you wonder why the Big Ten keeps winning championships and the SEC hasn't even been in the championship game in the last 3 years? That's a big part why. So I know we're going to talk about this more in more detail. Y'all know where I stand. I'm pro 24 team playoff. And I'm very much in favor of it. I want my 24 ticker, by the way, too. I'm very much in favor of 24. The more you work through it logically, it keeps making more sense. And my hope is Greg Sankey and the SEC get on board, because I don't want to keep perpetuating this nonsense at 12. All right, it's after further review. Brought to you by Goodwood. We'll knock out our final break here of hour number 1. Hour 2 next after SportsCenter.
After further review.
Pretty excited, man. I was chatting with my buddy Ben Sanders over at First South Farm Credit earlier today. We're going to go have lunch next week. Always love catching up, see what's going on, what's new over at First South Farm Credit. You're talking about a company that's more than 100 years old, right? They opened their doors back in 1916. So 110 years of doing one thing, helping Louisianians buy land. When you've done one thing for a century and a decade, you're probably pretty good at it. Stands to reason, right? Well, that's First South Farm Credit. But they keep innovating. I tell you about the patronage refund all the time, right? So as a member-owned cooperative, they share with their member borrowers in the profits. So every year, their members get a patronage refund. You can get a direct deposit if you want, whatever. But the point is, this year was over $23 million that they shared with their borrowers. So it effectively lowers your cost of borrowing. If it's that recreational property, if it's agriculture, it's First South Farm Credit.